Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of In-Poisiton, and I am here posing the Hot Toys Armored Batman Battle Damage version. That is the Sideshow exclusive version, and I'm going to do a really cool pose for you today, so I want to show you a couple things. One is I've got the Batman here, positioned nice and straight. I've got the display base, which I love this base, and I've got the crotch hook right there, kind of put about 2 inches down from the top. Okay, that's going to help in terms of posing. So now you can do this where he's standing by himself, but it is a little difficult. First pose that I happen to come upon just in my mind is a kind of a lunging kind of a pose, a little ready for action kind of thing. That's just kind of the first pose that came to mind for this figure. So I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very simple, and it just involves a lot of little tweaking. So he can stand by himself if you get it just right, but it's not perfect. But with the help of the display base, you can either have the logo sticking up or you can flatten the logo down. And either way, it looks awesome. But I would use the base just to keep him stable. That's just me. But basically what I did here, I already put the fist hand on his, I have this on his left hand. I'm going to pop this hand out and swap it with the spear hand. I've already put the spear on the hand. As you can see, I've got the spear there already, and I'm going to put the wrist peg in the hand and then pop it into the wrist, but I'm going to get him in position first. So basically it's just about tweaking, and I'm going to start with the left leg going up, and I want it in. Actually, do I want it out? No, I want it in as far as it can come in. I want this leg out and bent a bit, like so. And then I want his arms kind of back, like he's just ready to go. Ready for action. Maybe a little bit of an elbow bend, but just like, he's ready. He's raring to go. He's ready for Superman. Ready for Superman to come at him. But I want his shoulders back up high, I want his forearms sticking out, and I want a little bit of an action angle, kind of like that. See what I mean about how he can stand by himself? He can, but it's tricky, and he will knock over very easily. So that's just, I would hold off on that if I were you. I would just use the base. And it just depends on the angle too. I mean, that's about as far up as his leg can go, and you just got to stabilize the ankles to get him in position. And he can stand by himself, but it's tricky. You have to sort of pivot the torso as much as you can gently for the knee to be pretty solidly in front of him to support his weight, like so. And I wouldn't bend the knee all the way. I give it a little room so he can stand, because otherwise he'll topple over, and it's just, I think it's not as awkward looking. But you see, like, it's tricky to get him to stand by himself. Once you get the spear on, it's try to balance the weight a little bit, and even still, it's not perfect. But this is kind of where I chose to have it positioned. So I want him to be like that, ready to go with the spear. And the spear gives a little bit more counterbalance, and you can lean him forward, and he's like ready to go. And then what I would do is just, you can tweak it a little bit depending on what you want to do, depending on how you want him to look. But it helps if you have the base kind of set up the way you want it, because you put the front foot pretty much on the base, and it gives him decent support. And there you have it. Ready with the spear, ready to go. So, see, yeah, just gotta go a little bit lower. So now you can have it. You can have the Superman as flat if you want, Or if you really want it to be him leaning forward, have him kind of pitch down lower. Left leg comes up a little higher to give him that balance. You have his right leg sort of behind him, straight and pivoted to balance off his weight more. And then just some little tweaks here and there to pivot the body. Then you can still position the Superman logo up and have him be supported that way. And then arms back, and looking up. And he's ready for Superman to come at him. Come at me. So there you have it. Like, let me put this down a little bit. That way you can see. So if you see, you can use the base to your advantage. Now he's going to stick out a little bit from the base, but you know, as long as he's supported, that's really what we want. We want him to be supported, and if you want to use the base and have both feet on there, you can. You just sort of pivot it so that back leg, the right leg is sort of sticking off the base. His left leg is forward more. And see, like he kind of stands by himself when he's positioned like that. He's looking up. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, you can get a pretty dynamic pose. And I personally like the lunge. So I'm going to pivot him back down for the lunge. Because I just like the way that looks. I just think he's more dynamic. Can just tweak it as much as you can. Use the display base to your advantage as best you can. And I like him leaning forward more, so I'm going to put his leg up higher. Right leg straighter. And that's what gives you the real base support. Obviously with that up. Like pointed out, giving him that just subtle lean forward. And I think it's just a really, I don't know, it just looks very dynamic. I just like pointing out that way to give him a little balance. Pop the base up. And he's ready. There you go. And that's how he looks. See, he's pretty stable. He's going to tip a little, but that's why you have the right leg kind of sticking out to the side and the back, is to give him the extra little support he needs. And also what will help is drop the crotch support a little more, get underneath him a little bit better. Leaning forward. And you can try to get him on his back foot on the base if you want, just to get his back foot. And that also is helpful. Because that gives you a nice pose. And then you can still put the Batman versus Superman logo up. Tilt him this way. It's a lot of tweaking, honestly. But if you tweak it just right, you can get it. See? And it's pretty stable. It's just a lot of tweaking, really. I like the cape kind of spread out more, but it's a lot of tweaking, like I said. You just got to get it just right. Angle the foot just right, angle the knee just right, the thigh, pivot the thigh out as much as you can. You know, it does do what you want. You just have to play with it. But that's what I like that. See? And then you've got a nice stable pose. See? So there you go. So to sum it up, it's just really a lot of tweaking. But you can get it. And I personally, I would display it like that. I think that's pretty cool, in my opinion. Don't you? See? I think that's pretty neat. So there you have it. That is posing the Armored Batman Hot Toys Battle Demos version from Sideshow. This is the Sideshow exclusive version. You can do this with the regular edition Armored Batman, but this is just, I don't know, this was like the pose that I was thinking of when I, you know, took him out of the box. Was like, hey, I want to pose him like that. And so I did. And there you go. So you guys can do it too, and I'll give you a little closer look because he's using the base, as you can see. See how his foot kind of hangs down behind it? That gives him the weight distribution that he needs to be able to stand in this pose, because he's really not going to do it by himself unless you're tweaking it a lot. I mean, you can do it, and I did it, but he tips over very easily. So I like to use the base for a little extra support. And if you turn the crotch piece kind of facing out a little towards the side, more into the right leg, it will give you nice weight distribution. He supports himself very nicely, and then it gives you the room to raise the Batman versus Superman logo. His foot's going to stick out over the display base, but at least his heel is supporting the weight, and he gets a really dynamic pose. And then you can do it where you turn on the light, and you turn on the light. So there we go. And that's that. So thank you very much for tuning into this episode of In-Position. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that you like that pose, and I will see you guys next time. Keep calm, pose on, happy collecting, and make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you can see all my new videos. Take care.